Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Seb here and welcome back to a new video. Today I want to talk about an amazing paper I was reading about. It's called The Elephant in the Room, the often neglected relevance of speciesism in bias towards ethnic minorities and immigrants. It's very interesting because I've been aware of this for a while, but I didn't know that there's such a well-prepared study on it, and I want to share all the information with you because we do have to accept the fact that for humans to look at humans in the way that we do sometimes, there's definitely a layer that no one is talking about, which is why it's called the elephant in the room, a layer that is hidden, which is speciesism, the discrimination towards other species. I found this information on the website Phonalytics. I made a video about this tool a few days ago. If you want to check out the video, please click this link and you can watch and learn everything about Phonalytics and the work they're doing. Now let's get back to the paper and talk about why humans can get to the point where we discriminate towards other humans. I've been experiencing this for a few years already as a non-white person, let's say, because I'm born and raised in the Middle East. I get a lot of non-vegans writing racist comments on my YouTube channel, but of course I don't forget the golden rule that you should never let the comment section upset you. But it doesn't change the fact that this exists and I've experienced it myself and I'm aware of it, so I don't want to make a video to talk about it. The paper talks about how the dehumanization of other humans comes in a form of comparing these humans to other animals that we already see as less important than us and inferior to us, and put them on another level where they also put other animals, because these animals are seen as less morally important and less valuable. Therefore, at the heart of dehumanization is the way that society sees other animals. Researchers were able to document a relationship between discrimination against ethnic minorities and a bias against other animals. They also say that when people hold views that put humans above other animals, they're also more ethnocentric, which means they see more value and importance in their culture than other cultures. And I don't mean this in necessarily a positive way. Obviously, you can love your culture more than you love other cultures, but it doesn't necessarily mean that other cultures are inferior and that you have the right to devalue them. Research also shows that people who hold ideologies or follow ideologies that put certain human groups above other human groups also believe in what we call social domination. Social domination or social dominance orientation is basically the idea that there is a certain hierarchy in nature that is completely justified because one is more powerful or one believes to be more powerful or more important than the other. This is very similar to the ideology of Nazism, fascism, or any other, let's say, supremacist ideology that people may hold. This specific website defines social dominance orientation as a measure of an individual's support for group-based hierarchies. It reflects a person's attitudes towards hierarchies in general, as well as beliefs about whether one's own group should dominate other groups. I'm sure you can imagine where I'm going with this. If you already believe that there is a certain social dominance that you have the right to follow, and you basically are allowed to dominate other groups, then you will use this same dominion to do onto animals what we are doing in this day and age, because you believe that you have been given that right by nature. This ideology is basically a way to justify exploiting who you believe is less important or, let's say, on a lower level than you. The pharmaceutical industry does this actually. They offer cash money to participants who are actually immigrants or refugees and make them participate in medical tests where they don't really understand the risk that they're taking. This has happened in the past, what was called the Tuskegee study. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've only read about it, so I don't really know how to pronounce it. Basically what happened is they took hundreds of African American men and they made them go into this medical study. They were told that they're getting free healthcare by the government, but basically what was happening was they were monitoring what happens to untreated syphilis. And it's proof of what we talked about, where you believe, let's say, a certain human group is less important than you, therefore you feel you have the right to exploit them for your benefit. To finish, I also want to mention that the study also talked about how a person who shows more empathy towards other animals has a higher chance of showing empathy towards humans of other races or ethnic backgrounds. This is another reminder that veganism is obviously for the animals and will help the animals, but on the long term it will also help humans. Now, I'm not saying there are no vegans out there who are racist or fascist or whatever. They unfortunately exist, but they are a small minority, and we can always hope that we can change them to move forward and make sure this movement stays free of racism. Obviously, this is a reminder that as animal rights activists, we should always make sure to raise awareness about animal rights and talk about the similarities, the moral similarities between humans and non-humans, because at the end of the day, in the ways that matter, we are similar. There are many things that we have that are not similar, Just the same way that humans have a lot of things that are not similar. I might have a different skin color or eye color, etc., than you, but that does not mean that in order to believe in human rights we ignore these differences. It's the opposite. We embrace these differences, we acknowledge these differences, but we also accept that these differences are morally irrelevant differences. And that is exactly the same case with other animals. There are a lot of things that we don't have in common, but they are morally irrelevant traits. So to finish, this is just a reminder that racism and speciesism are linked. Obviously, when you are able to see another animal as a less important and morally irrelevant, then you can use that same process of dehumanization onto ethnic minorities or marginalized groups and be discriminatory against them as well. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. If you would like to support my work, check out my website or also ethics-over-habits.com for organic, fair trade and vegan merchandise. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.